We're on the air. Thank you. Welcome to the City of New Carrollton Special Council meeting on Wednesday, April 22nd at 7:00 p.m. Call to order. The discussion of the Public Works Director budgeted salary and alternatives. And I'll be glad to go last. Lincoln, you have any additional thoughts you want to add to this?
I pretty much spoke my piece at the last meeting, Mr. Chair. I'm here to listen and figure out if there's a way to move forward.
Okay. Agnella, you want to add anything?
There's no way forward. There's no money for Mr. Barkley's salary. I am concerned. Did he work on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Because according to the numbers in the last report, as of March 31st, the funds were going to be exhausted by April 17th. That's my raw estimate, but I am concerned. Has he been working since Monday the 20th? Madam Mayor? Mr. Barkley, have you been working since Monday, April the 20th?
Yes.
Okay. That's a problem. The city does not have the money to issue your paycheck during the next payroll. And the administration has been notified about the lack of funds to do that. But did not present a budget amendment that won't be supported by me. This communication from Karpinski, Hornbrooks, and Clark that was just left for council members to review at the last minute. It's a follow-up conversation that the mayor had with our insurance company, Legit. And on the last paragraph, I am very concerned with the statement that Mr. Hornbrooks is saying that was communicated by the mayor. The statement says, there may also be significant issues arising out of the city charter and code, but the evaluation of those issues is best left to the city attorney, who apparently opined that council is proceeding in a manner in which it is not permitted to do so. We met with our town council in closed session. The discussions with our attorney are bound not to be discussed outside of closed session. The mayor was not present, so I'm concerned about she communicating information to other parties that were discussed in closed session. That's all I have to say.
Okay, now your position is that there's no money. Brianna, welcome.
I still support a budget amendment. I know that there are two options on the table, but I don't like either of them for a variety of reasons. As to how Legit became informed as to the things we were advised, the city attorney also talks to the mayor. So I'm certain there was a follow-up conversation after our conversation in which he reported to the mayor what he shared with us. Now, granted, I wasn't on any of these calls, so I don't know what was exactly communicated, but it was communicated to us pretty explicitly that we are likely to incur legal liability if we do not do a budget amendment, and we would not incur legal liability if we did a budget amendment. And so I remember that part of the conversation being towards the end. So I don't have anything else to add to this at this time. I don't like the options that are being presented to us. The first option, it doesn't allow for currently the deputy city manager or deputy city administrator role is vacant, and reclassifying Mr. Barclay to serve in both of those roles deprives the city of a full-time person in that role. And if we're going to have that conversation, we shouldn't be having it under these circumstances. I think that it is likely to occur that we would need a full-time person in that role. I actually am kind of surprised that we don't have a full-time person in that role right now, but my understanding is that the city is kind of pausing on hiring until the compensation study is done, and I think that's responsible. The second option we were presented was a large sum payment, which would involve a budget amendment. And it would involve us paying a considerable sum of money in addition to having to hire someone else and having to pay them too. And so that doesn't seem like the fiscally responsible choice. So I still am very much urging that we adopt the budget amendment. It's just for fiscal year 26. It would expire on June 30th. And then we would be better equipped to make prudent decisions going forward. That's my piece.
Okay, now I thought, Brianna, I'll just ask you before we stop with you. I thought I heard you say at the prior meeting that this is just for this year and you will not approve the budget if that salary level stays at that 166 level. Are you still in that position?
I want to see what the compensation study says, because if the compensation study says that that salary is appropriate, then that definitely changes my perspective, because I'm not an HR professional and we hired HR professionals to determine appropriate compensation. So I want that to guide my decisions, not like how I feel about it. You know, do I think that salary is too high from my own vantage point? Yes. But am I equipped to make that decision based on data and experience? No, not at all.
And if BRC gives us numbers that are more in the range of what we had in the budget and what we've been paying for over the recent years, you're willing to vote against the budget at 166 and take the lawsuits then? You just don't want the lawsuits now?
I don't want the lawsuits now. I don't want the vacancy now. I think we can plan, and you could even list the position now with the anticipation that we may need to fill it in a couple of months. But I think that there are settlements that could be made that would allow for us to not have a lawsuit. But as Councilmember Malave just indicated, Mr. Barclay has worked this week. I don't know if there's enough funds to pay him for just the 3 days of work he's performed this week. But assuming there isn't, we've already incurred legal liability if we don't pay him. And so these are terrible options. No, there's no good answer here. I'm not going to feel good about anything this council does as it relates to this. But as it's in terms of what I would do on the budget, I need to have that information to be certain of what to do. But right now, what we need to figure out is, you know, does Mr. Barclay come to work tomorrow? And do we continue to incur legal liability every single day that he's coming to work and not being paid due compensation for that? So I did the math, Councilmember Rosenberg, that the compromise that you came up with, which is not on the table today, is not that much less expensive than just adopting the budget amendment. It really saves, I think it's a matter of maybe $10,000, a little less. If we just adopt the budget amendment, that is, I think, still a compromise. And I assume that because the mayor is offering it, that it's amenable to Mr. Barclay.
Okay, the compromise I offered had at least two components. One is to deal with spending more taxpayer money, which we haven't really been, we're only authorized up to the budget. So I'm saying, let's set aside more money and move that rate to 130. We can go through the exercise again of explaining the details. However, the second component was that we guaranteed when that budget comes around, it's at 130 right now until we have more information from BRC. BRC may not be done by then. I hope they are. But when the new budget comes in, that stays at 130. So it's not just saving for a couple of months, it's saving long term. We are saying we have a person who is qualified at 166,000 in the job, and we need somebody at 125, 130. So let's make it 130, and let's make it 130 for next year. So we start right now, and yes, we're spending money that isn't authorized. We're gonna have to do a budget amendment for the additional 20,000, whatever it is. And yes, we're gonna be paying more than 130,000. But I'm trying to come up with a compromise, because everything else, as you say, and you and I absolutely agree on this, every option's bad. So I prefer a compromise to just a drop dead, let them work without pay and sue us. Let's stop paying them and have them sue us. Let's do a compromise. And there's a lot of benefits to the compromise to him and to us. And I'm looking out first to the residents and the people who put us in office. The other alternative is looking out best for the employee. And I appreciate Ms. Holsweet is here with us tonight when she went to the podium. Please leave William out of this. Nothing personal to you, William. This is something that has been created within the city. It's a problem within the city. We have to solve it. And we apologize to William for being put in this situation. But remember, it was 7 months ago, it came to our attention, and we said, let's do something about it. We should have had a budget amendment 7 months ago. and we didn't. And then it became a crisis. We got a budget amendment. We were told that we didn't know about it. We've been talking about it for 7 months. So that's where I am on it. I'd love to hear from Ms. Mills. Is she here? There she is. She missed a lot of conversation. I'm going to go back to you, Agnelli, if you heard this, and then we'll have Ms. Mills. Welcome, Cynthia. Go
Yes,
ahead.
this did not have to be an emergency. We raised it 7 months ago, and we are addressing Mr. Barkley, and we are ignoring the city manager position, which is in the same situation.
Mhm.
It should be treated in a fairly equal manner in order to be consistent. And so beyond the dollars and cents and the risk of a lawsuit, whether the salary is reduced now or the salary is reduced in July because BRC gives us some report, it's the fact that the mayor acted without authorization to approve salaries that were above the budget and is usurping the city council's authority. Because he was allowed before. This is a different council. Are we going to allow this mayor to continue to spend money above the allocated amounts and then present us a budget amendment? I don't think we should.
Well, I'll wrap up after you say that, I'm opposed to this budget amendment. I agree with Brianna. There's no easy solution. There's no pretty solution. It's all ugly. But I will not approve this budget amendment, and my compromise is on the floor. And Cynthia, I'm sorry, I waited till 10 after, but, yeah, I'm sorry. But we had some people here and people online. And we're on item number 1, Cynthia. You missed some of the conversation, but you're welcome to share your thoughts now if you like. We're talking about the public works position being out of funds right now because of the budget. Public Works Director, excuse me.
Okay, I heard, is that Melly? Run her blood pressure up real fast. First of all, pointing the fingers, I don't think is necessary. We did see the letter. We did approve the offer letter. We did. Okay, what should have happened was if they looked at the budget before December or before January, and said we're gonna need to do this. I do think it's an emergency because it's affecting somebody's salary, somebody's livelihood. I'm all for it. I will vote yes for this. And I'm not gonna sit here and beat a dead horse because that's all we've been doing, going back and forth. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, you heard me? I'm not gonna sit here and keep beating a dead horse. As I said before, it falls on all of us. It does not fall on the mayor because we did see the offer letter for 6 months and everything. We let it go. And like you said, it's a different council. You were new here, but we did do it. We did do it. And I am gonna vote for it. That's all I have.
Okay, there's no budget amendment before us tonight because when Caitlin asked me if we'd be voting, I said, we already did vote. We voted on three resolutions unanimously, that we would not allow people to move money around from the line items, and that we wouldn't allow the payments to go over the budget until we hear from BRC. We've already voted on this. We have resolutions to cover these issues. So there's nothing to vote on. If you want to, as a council, vote again next time. But meanwhile, Mr. Barkley's working without pay, and it's an ugly situation all the way around. But you can see the vote is 3-2 right now, so it won't pass. Anybody want to add anything? I've already heard all the drama and all the horror stories.
Yeah,
They're all live. Go ahead, Lincoln.
Mr. Chairman, beyond the drama and the horror stories, I just want to figure out how we move forward. Can you explain to me what your compromise is again? You and I kind of
Okay.
talked about it.
Yeah,
So
my
maybe we can
compromise.
Put that on the floor and maybe talk about that and
Yeah,
vote on that.
for in simple terms that I tried to explain is just assume right now that the position was vacant. And we advertised it, which we did. We advertised it to 115 to 130. We had a bunch of applicants. We chose Mr. Barkley at 166. Suppose it's vacant right now and we hired somebody at 130. We'd be paying 130.
Exactly.
Well, let's just put Mr. Barkley in that new position. We're paying him 130 right now. So instead of getting 13,000 a month, whatever he's getting now, he would get 10 or 11,000 a month for 2 months. In those 2 months, in that compromise, we're authorizing to spend taxpayer money above what's budgeted. We have to do a budget amendment anyway. And we're also saying that new budget is at 130 until we see what BRC gives us, okay? Because if you look at your budget now, which I consider dead on arrival, they budgeted 166 for next year. That's not reasonable for the Public Works Director. Okay? So we fix the budget and we start paying at a rate of 130. If BRC comes in, as Brianna says, if BRC comes in a month and says that position should be paying 166, then we reassess. Okay? But for now, it keeps the payroll flowing. He works with the payroll. He keeps all of his benefits intact, and we have a Public Works Director being paid. It's a compromise. It doesn't save much money. Brianna's right, but it does set the stage for us saying we're trying to live within the budget here. And to the people who are concerned, our residents who sit in the audience here, they realize we're spending more money than we planned to. We told them 130. They all read that. And now we're saying we're going to go to 150 instead of 166 or something in that neighborhood, 155. Okay. And I'm doing that as a compromise because the extremes are ugly. Right? Does that make sense?
It does, it does. I guess we'd have to figure out what the mayor.
No,
and
we,
Mr. Barkley did.
no, we don't. That's with personnel. If we, the council, authorize a certain amount of money, then we go to the mayor and he goes to the personnel director and says, this is what we're offering you. Do you want it or not? That's up to them. We don't negotiate that in public. I think that's either.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
but your compromise is predicated on the fact that that is going to be acceptable to Mr. Barclay. He could still sue us even if we do that.
my compromise is not predicated on anything. My compromise is saying this is what this council is willing to do. He could still sue us and he could leave. If he doesn't like it, and that is not for you and me to decide in this
No,
meeting.
no, that's true. I just wanted to make that clear for the record, though, that my request that we do the budget amendment gets us out of legal liability. Your compromise does hold him in his position and offers him pay and benefits, but it does not eliminate the legal liability that we are in right now.
Well, I've weighed those options and I'm prepared for the city to take on those legal challenges, even if we lose, in order to restore the council's credibility and our authority with the budget.
Mr.
I
Chair?
understand. And then I just wanted to, I'm sorry, Ms. Mills. I just wanted to make one more comment. I don't think that we should treat both employees the same because they are, even though the numbers are, the issue is the same. They're both being paid in excess of the budget. The numbers are quite different and the situations and circumstances are very different. Maisha has a long tenure with the city. William has been with the city a little more than a year, I think, at this point. And there are a variety of other factors that when you're, this is just me, sharing my experience as having worked in the private sector as a lawyer. No two cases are the same. And every case has to be treated based on the individual circumstances. And so I don't think that we should have to address both at the same time. And I think that we should take into consideration the unique circumstances of each position. And supremely with Maisha, she is the city manager. She's in charge of all of the departments. She walks away just because she's not getting paid. The consequences are much more significant. No offense, Mr. Barclay. But I just wanted to say that. But I'm sorry, Ms. Mills, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, and we're only dealing with the Public Works Director tonight. Brianna will deal with the city manager position later, but both positions have been brought to our attention and to the mayor's attention 7 or 8 months ago. So we've known about it a long time. These budget amendments are very stale. Agnelli, I'm sorry.
No, Ms.
I've been
Cynthia
sitting here.
wanted to
Oh,
speak first.
I thought she was speaking.
I
I'm sorry,
overspoke.
Cynthia. Go ahead. She overspoke. Okay, my apologies to Cynthia, your turn.
Okay, first of all, you had the council asking me to do a one-on-one with the mayor, asking Mr. Broccoli to give us his negotiation. Whatever happened to that? Did we read it? Was that shared with everybody?
That was,
And what
yes, that was shared with everybody by email. That was a proposal that we move him into a position that I thought the mayor said was going to be eliminated, but it's an empty position anyway, and that violates our unanimous resolution that we will not be hiring to fill any positions because he would be rehired in a position in the administration. And the mayor sent us a memo to that effect. That was her compromise, keeping the salary the same.
Okay, and I would like to put resolution 26-10 on the floor.
Which one's that?
I'll second your motion, Ms. Mills.
Thank you. Repealing resolution 2606. A resolution repealing the resolution limiting the administrator's ability to transfer monies to cover salary.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. Okay. That is. That's not even on the agenda tonight. Okay, we can add it to the agenda. That's fine. But let's finish with number 2. I think it's exhausted, so there's nothing to vote on. So we can move on to number 3 and then, oh, I'm sorry.
I overspoke with both over council.
And then you didn't want to be, you had more to share. So go
I
ahead.
apologize. I got carried away. I just wanted to share that this is all bad. I'm tired of the drama. I would support Chair Rosenberg's offer of compromise. It's out there. So you would have 2 votes to start with if the council wanted to move in that direction.
The moved and seconded that resolution 2610 be put on the floor.
So, well, we're going to put that on the floor after we do number 3.
I would be willing to support the compromise offer, but only on the contingency that it eliminates legal liability. And so that's not a decision that we can vote on today because that's something that Mr. Barclay is going to have to bring to his family, his attorney, what have you, to determine what, if he wants to relinquish his right to sue. But I'm not going to support a budget amendment to pay somebody more money so they can sue us. That doesn't make any sense.
So I would envision some work by Jason putting this together for us with legal sufficiency. We can draft it in-house here with the city manager and staff. And as part of that agreement, Brown, and what you're saying is to put in there that Letitia works with Mr. Barkley to agree there could be no lawsuits resulting from this compromise. And Jason could give us legal sufficiency in that. If that works.
Yeah. I would support that, but obviously we can't vote on it because, you know, I don't think it's appropriate.
No, we'd have to have a document put together, and without 4 votes, it wouldn't go. So it depends what Lincoln's thinking. And you don't need to answer tonight, Lincoln, but we do need to know. If we're gonna have 4 people in support of that compromise, we need to put the staff tasked with writing this down, something that Jason could say it's legally sufficient, getting personnel, Letitia, to handle all the signatures and legal sufficiencies, and then we come back together and vote on approving a budget amendment. And that document will also say that the new budget is now 130 until we hear from BRC. All that can be caveats in the language.
Okay, have you contacted personnel asking them if this is something they want to do?
No, that's not my role. on the
HR.
council. That's not my role as a council member. My role as a council member is spending the money. I'm saying let's spend 20,000 more instead of 30,000 more, and let's get the numbers in line.
How are you going to affect somebody's job without going through personnel, HR?
That's the mayor and personnel will do that. We'll give them the guidance of what we're willing to do as a council, and the mayor and personnel will deal with that. We're not doing the administration up here, Cynthia. We are doing council. Our role is to authorize spending.
Mr. Chair, based on what you just said, I will definitely support
That compromise.
that compromise if the city attorney agrees that it is legally sufficient and that there are no, hear me out, no lawsuits coming our way.
And that would be my issue, working with Letitia. You heard everything we said. That has to be written in agreement. The sooner we get it, the better we can agree on it, and we can cast a vote on that, okay? All right, that's 4 people willing to do that compromise.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I'm not quite sure. I left you, and I also forwarded an email
Mhm.
just today, shortly around 4:30. We received a lawsuit,
I didn't see that.
potential amount to deplete our general fund
Okay, I'm
from a
sorry.
former employee. I'm just wanting to let you guys know that in the past, decisions have been made, and I know you and I have spoken about it. And based on the decisions that were made, today I'm getting a lawsuit in my name for something I don't know anything about. And I just wanted to give you the heads
I
up
hear
that
you.
we
I
have a
hear you.
lawsuit in potential litigation. So when you're asking me directly and channeling or putting your anger towards me for spending over the budget, you never had a problem when Maisha told you they've always done budget amendment, right? Their budget amendment that you and her have sat down and spoken about budget amendments. You ever channeled your frustration and anger towards Maisha for going over a line item? Why you channeling it towards me?
Well, I'm gonna halt this here.
That's
and
not,
say-
that's what, I'm just saying, based on decisions
I hear
that
you.
have been made, there is a lawsuit to deplete right here, the general fund of the entire city. And I just want the residents to know, just like how you're saying, the people that voted for us want to make sure we're making decisions that are going to protect their interests also.
Okay,
And the only reason why I have not made any decision towards making any, because of the legal advice that I was given. So if you guys were expecting Mr. Barkley not to be here, then one of you guys should have terminated Mr. Barkley. Who you want to do it, me? And then I get the lawsuit? That's all I'm saying.
now, the reference to, anger and accusing people, let's leave this out of here. Okay, this is council business dealing with the city money. Mayor, anyway, you and the administration deal with it. If lawsuits come in, that's the administration. We, the council, have to deal with the money later if something happens. There have been lawsuits in the past that haven't gone our way. There may be some in the future. We've made mistakes. We may be guilty in some of these things.
But we're
Right
making
now-
the same mistakes
Excuse
over and
me,
over
excuse me,
again.
Excuse me, I have the floor. Right now, I want to stick with what's on the agenda. And the agenda is, how do we deal with this crisis that's 7 months old and we're dealing with it in the last minute? And now we have 4 people saying, this sounds like a compromise that might work. Let's let the city attorney look at it. Maisha understands what was said. She has the transcript. She can draft something for us to read, hopefully soon. Okay? And we'll see if that, and we'll deal with this issue. These other lawsuits, we'll deal with them when they reach our plate. Let's look at budget amendment number 26, ordinance number 2617, because that one we could call it an emergency. Emergency ordinance. Yes, Maisha. I don't like the word emergency, but go ahead.
But all budget amendments do require 4/5, whether you do emergency,
I
not
know.
emergency, but what the emergency allows us to do is for it to go into effect right away and not, I mean, there's 20 days later.
Okay, then I'll buy that for this one, because it was an emergency the last time we met, and when I was in Florida on the tube. All right, and this has been read. I know that, well, I know Agnelli's still on studying this. She'll have some comments, but I'm gonna start with Brianna. Brianna, have you studied the changes that were made here? Are you happy with what's going on now?
I'm sorry, the changes with what? I
Well,
missed the beginning.
Ordinance 2617 was 2 pages long with a lot of accounts. It's been reduced to fewer accounts, I think, smaller print anyway. And there've been some changes, and the red is the, Maisha, the red was the,
Maybe if I
Deep-
speak to,
well, okay, I know we studied it. You go ahead first, I know.
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, Brianna, go ahead.
I opposed the initial budget amendment for 430,000. It was voted down by Mr. Rosenberg and I. In my interest to continue to support the financial sufficiency and fiscal responsibility of the city administration and the council, I sat with Maisha on Saturday. We went line by line, but my overarching point was identify wants versus needs in the budget. And we had a good discussion. Many items of small dollar value were there because we already spent it. It was negative. Some items of higher value were unexpected, like the retirement pension. And others were minuscule in this big scheme of 430,000, where we had more thoughtful discussions, had to do first with overtime, because according to my previous numbers, overtime was a significant amount of money, 81,000, and it seemed like a lot. Well, once we crunched the numbers, out of that 81,000 that's being requested, 56,767 are already spent. So it needs to be covered. And the total stays the same in this revised budget amendment of 81,000, but the city manager has communicated to department managers the need to be more conscientious about overtime. There are some things like spring fling that she forecasts will require additional overtime. And so that's why she's requiring a little bit more than what is already spent. And some of that overtime, especially in the category of administration and finance, has to do with the hiring freeze and the positions, the people in those positions spending some more time. The other category that we discussed in great detail was travel and training and the MML conference. She educated myself that it costs about $2,600 per person to attend MML. And there I repeated needs versus wants. And the general proposition that I made to Maisha, and it is reflected in these numbers. If the department has the money in the budget, then they can decide how many people they send, which is the case for the police department. They have money in the budget. It's being moved from one category to the next. In terms of category, it's the police has 14,750 under a line item called employee training. But it makes sense, MML will fall under training and travel. So that same 14,750 is being moved. But overall, the police department has money in the MML category, so they can decide how many people can go. However, the line item for the mayor and council needs to be funded by 15,000 because we're going. The administration was asking for more money. And there I said, who needs to go from administration? And it made sense to me that the city manager and the city clerk. So there's 5,200 being approved as additional funds for training and travel under administration. And the Department of Public Works already has a deficit in that category. And the department head of Public Works should go. And so out of the previously requested 42,250 for travel and training under the desire of MML, this budget amendment approves 30,600. And overall, the total is 386,064 instead of 429,000. So I would support this revised budget amendment.
Thank you for the thorough analysis. I'll use the excuse I was out of town, but I didn't read it as closely as you. Brianna, with that.
Ms. Maisha.
Thank you, Maisha, for that. Brianna, you want to go now, or should I let Lincoln comment? Maybe he's done more time to read.
I'll go because it's fast. I support this budget amendment. I support it in its initial form. I appreciate Agnelli's attention to detail, and I'm prepared to support it now.
Okay, Lincoln?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I will be supporting it as well. Quick question for you, Maisha. I know we talked about it before the meeting, but for the sake of the public, the $41,000 that's on the line item under the police, can you explain to me again, or just for the benefit of?
That's me
Anyone else?
reducing. So all the negatives, which are the numbers in red, are me reducing. That's where I'm taking the money from to fund other lines.
As well as the 150 for the recycling contract?
Yes. Because there were monies, there were
So you
different
leave
monies
that in-house, you've saved, is that the 150,000 that you've saved?
we have saved. Yes. I mean, we still have fees that we have to pay at the, I call it the dump, when you go drop the stuff off. But overall, we did have savings. And so there were some line items in public works. So I did keep the movement within departments. So that movement wasn't with monies that was needed within public works.
Awesome. Thank you, Madam City Manager. I don't have any further questions, Mr.
I
Chairman.
should remember, Lincoln, but I think the contract we had for recycling when we brought it in-house was close to 200,000, wasn't it, Maisha?
Yes, the budget is $205,000.
So we were hiring a contractor, and Public Works, Mr. Barkley gets credit for this. He brought that in-house as our guys doing it, and he brought the money down. Now the money's being used for other things, okay?
Very good. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
And I, of course, I'd support this. I have no problem with this. So this one, I mean, this isn't a legislative session, but it's emergency. We can vote on this tonight. Oh, Ms. Mills, I'm sorry. You have anything to add to this one? Getting angry at me.
Well, I understand the changes made, and I would appreciate it if Councilman Abbott,
Sorry.
Councilmember Agnelli has shared this with us before she went to the city manager to make the changes. I understand the changes she made, but it'd be nice, because like right now, it sounds like it's a city council one. We don't want that. It'd be nice if you had shared this with us saying, hey, y'all, look what I found. This is what it needs to be. And that's the only thing, it's like, excuse me.
Thank you. What is it?
Right. It's like, we need to be sharing what we're doing. I understand your logic, but it'd be nice if you had thrown this at me before, because I was looking at the old one last night, and now I see this, like, I wasted my time last night looking over the other one, because I didn't know the changes had been made.
I'm sorry, Helen, can you address that? The
It was provided
revised-
to us.
Yeah, I did send out the revised one in the packet.
And it was, we had it a couple days and I had a chance to look at it.
Well, I was still holding on to the one that was given before. I started on the other one. I started on the one we had. I will go along with this because she explained it, but I think we need to do a better job of sharing. That's all I have
Okay,
to
so
say.
so noted. Is this council ready then to somebody make a motion that we accept this? We'll vote on it tonight and take the record of the vote. Okay, so that's emergency spending can be approved. I hear a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve budget amendment ordinance 26-17.
I'll second it.
Okay, so motion is second. Lots of discussion already. We're ready for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have 5 to nothing. No nays, okay? So it's 5 to nothing. Now, we add,
I don't know.
What's your vote?
oh, Ms. Mills,
I don't know.
I thought I heard you. All right, it's 5 to nothing. I'm sorry. I'm glad you caught that, Caitlin. Now, we added something. Yes, Maisha.
I do have a question, and I mean, you can finish the next one, but I just wanted to say I have a question about this 130 conversation of what you need me to write. Because there was a packet that Ms. Mills did present to the mayor with different offers. Do those still stand? And this 130 has been added to the options.
The 130 is a known commodity that 4 council people will vote on. So the other options are not that way right now. So I'd focus on the 130
Okay.
and all the provisions we discussed it, because we know that will pass and that'll get us out of an emergency. And then Letitia and the mayor and you can work on how that is negotiated with Mr. Barker. Okay?
Mr. Chair, I have a
Yeah.
question.
Mhm.
So I am understanding the council's role in controlling the purse. But I'm also not getting any understanding as to where nobody's asking the mayor of any questions to do with this. These line items, the mayor didn't go over, contrary to most people's belief. But I would have appreciated it if the council members had a question and at least talk to me about a question, as opposed to one council member sitting down and saying, this is what I will approve, this is what it has to be, in order for us to get a budget amendment for you guys to pass.
So noted.
So,
In the
yes,
future, keep that in
so
mind.
I have a problem with that. And secondly, the MML. I know the information was passed that we have a few employees that had started MML, and this is the last MML for them to finish and graduate in the scope of education. The answer was, I don't care what the mayor wants. My thing to you, I'm throwing it out to the entire council now, not just to one person. We have a few employees, just a few. And I'm saying, if you guys have the generosity to do some budget amendments, I'm seeing what is happening here, that you do only the ones that you want to do. Nobody is consulting or talking or seeing where we going with budget amendments. So it's not the mayor overspending. There are employees who have started the MML process. I am just finishing it. And Maisha runs the day-to-day operations, so Maisha is running the numbers. But of course, I'll take blame for everything. I'm not just saying, because I'm adding to it, we don't want to hear nothing that the mayor has to say. And I'm just saying to you guys, what is the rationale behind the budget amendment that was forecasted to you guys before? Like, for instance, in that previous budget amendment, there was something for the hot box for the potholes that because of this new snow amounts that we got, we have these huge humongous amount of potholes that the little machine that we're using cannot fill it and it stay filled. As soon as the rain falls, everything get washed out. And the hot box was in that budget, and the statement was made, you guys got a budget better, leave it for next year. While the potholes are right now, people are complaining. I know Cynthia have gotten a lot of the calls about the potholes from the people in her neighborhood that are so deep, it requires immediate attention. So I'm not saying that I have to come and kiss everybody on their cheek to get something. This is for the residents, it's not for me. It's for the residents to benefit the residents. The same people that call every day and want something to be done on their street. But there's no, let me finish. There's no consideration at all for nothing that the mayor wants. It's easy to just, you sit there and just allow me to get bashed. But nobody has asked any question about any of the departments unless it's okay for one person to say, I will approve this, it's fine with everybody. But nobody has brought anything to my attention in terms of what is the rationale behind something or what is the rationale behind something else. But you guys are approving some budget amendment regarding employee issues on some end, it is being approved, but for some it's not. We just got to be careful.
I would take all that under advisement and don't encourage a lot of discussion, but that's enough. Go ahead. You have a comment. Go ahead.
The budget had 29,000 under travel and training at the beginning of the year. The administration could have calculated how much money they needed MML, which happens to be at the end of the fiscal year, and do better planning.
And I
But we
would
didn't know we
only
have to
add
pay for card services,
to
and you
my
didn't have a problem with that.
colleagues and myself, the five of us, when we sit down in the budget session in May, keep that in mind. Do the numbers and watch that item, okay? So I think we're ready to move on to this resolution now. This resolution
Card services,
is
that wasn't
asking
the
us
budget
to
should-
break our unanimous resolve. This is resolution 2610. To break our unanimous resolve, and I would point out two things before I hear what you folks have to say. That
2610.
2610, it was on your table. They added it here.
Oh, okay, yes.
And I would, before we even discuss it, and I'll always go last, but there's two things that override this resolution. One, we've heard nothing from BRC. And this, I think, would be a big mistake without hearing the initial reports from BRC. Second, we have a compromise that four of us are going to agree upon that would eliminate the need to do this. So, so I would, I'll open it up now, and I'll go to Cynthia first. She wanted to put on the agenda.
I put it on the agenda because after we voted the last time and I looked into what exactly it said, I was not happy with it. Because the way it was explained to me in reality were two different things. And that's the problem we're having here. Like, we're not listening, we're accepting what is given through us, kind of like Trump in his book 25. After we voted, and I went and I read it and I asked questions, I called Sabrina, and she kind of broke it down to me. She broke it down to me what we were saying, and I wanted to put it back on the floor.
Okay. Lincoln?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. I'm just looking at this and hadn't really digested it until it was given to me tonight. But I'm of the mindset that it's a little premature prior to us getting our numbers from BRC. I'm not sure that your compromise will be accepted by the administration, so I'm not going to speak to that. But I do think that before we remove anything from what we unanimously voted on, we should wait and hear what the BRC study has to say. So that's what I said.
Okay. And I'm seeing people in the room, but Brianna, your thoughts?
I'm inclined to support it. Once again, just for fiscal year 26. However, I don't know, like you said, if Mr. Barclay accepts the compromise that's going to be offered to him, that we wouldn't need it for him. I don't, obviously we'll be in the same position in a matter of weeks with the city manager. So this could benefit the city manager for us to be able to move money around. But I really want to know first, I think, if Mr. Barclay is willing to accept the offer on the table. I mean, I guess I'm saying this because I wouldn't accept the offer on the table. But if he's willing to accept it, then we don't need this. But if he doesn't, then I would support it.
Okay, well then, do I want to hear a motion that we postpone this until we hear Agnelli? Okay, Agnelli, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, council members, this is moot until we pass the budget amendment because there's no money to move. So if we approve a compromise that requires a budget amendment, then we need this resolution to overturn and be able to move money. But until there is an approved budget resolution, voting in this, we could vote, but it has no power. That's my interpretation.
I agree with Councilmember Malave. Like ultimately, we need a budget amendment anyway for this to be effective. So
Why don't we postpone this, Brianna, until we take your advice that we hear what the administration and personnel do with Mr. Barclay and our compromise that has 4 votes.
yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay, so I hear a motion to postpone this?
Mr. Chair, I move that we postpone resolution repealing the resolution limiting the administration's ability to transfer monies to cover salaries and expenditures.
Okay,
I'll
second.
second that motion.
Okay, now listen very carefully to the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Aye or nay?
Nay.
Nay. 4-1. This will be postponed. Okay? Now, I tried to promise a short meeting. Where are we? We got a motion to adjourn. Can I entertain that, please?
I'll move that we adjourn this emergency workshop meeting at 7:58 p.m.
Got a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So I think I heard 5. Okay? Thank you, staff, putting another evening in for us for important matters. Thank you, council members.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.